I'm Olivia Lilly. I'm the artistic director of the Runaways.
My name is Crispin Rosenkrantz. I do lots of things.
My name is B. David Zarley. I'm a Chicago-based journalist, essayist, and critic.
My name is Katie Haynes. I'm a 24-year-old Chicago-based actor.
The Runaways' first season, our theme was the transition from childhood to adulthood.
It's sort of an exploration, for me at least, of time periods that I had a great interest in, but then to see how they might reflect in the present day.
The first show was called That's What Makes Her an Icon. It was an original play about 4 millennials all across the country dealing with growing up.
It was nothing like I'd ever experienced.
It was actually a promenade-style show, so the audience had to wander through the 3 rooms.
It was building from the base up, which was great.
Like a scene would suddenly hit you from the side or like behind or above.
Season 1 had, the play I was in, Dorian Tight Red Pants XX.
The second show was called Dorian Tight Red Pants XX, which was a devised adaptation of The Picture of Dorian Gray, set in Wicker Park, exploring Oscar Wilde and ennui and hipsterdom.
While it embodied the portrait of Dorian Gray, it was completely different.
It was interesting to see how those ideals that Wilde put forth could play out in a modern setting. You know, there's no way he could foresee how easy it would be for all of us to just sort of live in beautiful things all the time now, and how dangerous that could potentially be.
The third show was called Friedrich Schiller Writes the Robbers, which is the story of Friedrich Schiller, the 18th century playwright, poet, philosopher, writing his first play in secret in military school. And it interwove the story of his writing the play in the military school and the play itself.
That production really established, I think, the Runaways as a very unique experimental company.
The theme of season 2 is no guts, no glory.
If previously there was no limitations, it's going to push it way farther.
The first show is called I Saw the Best Minds of My Generation, and it's based on a memoir by a female beat writer, Joyce Johnson.
There's something about the beats that's intriguing.
We are going to figure out what a beat universe is and how this great, beautiful world that these artists and writers created was then sort of manufactured and turned into a fad.
Anyone who's seen a cartoon with a black beret and a black sweatshirt and, you know, snapping after poems, they can relate to that kind of thing.
The second show is called Land of 10,000 Shopping Malls, and it's an original play.
The Land of 10,000 Shopping Malls, which goes through the minds of 4 teenage girls who intend to blow up a mall.
Kind of sounds like it's going to be like Heathers right before the banks fall.
It's going to be super theatrical, but it's also going to kind of hark back to that like teen movie.
It's difficult to understand how important the time periods are, like right behind you and when you're living in them. And I think it'll do a great job of helping us to appreciate just how far the world changes year to year.
The third show is called The Great, and it explores Alexander the Great and the alt-lit movement and how both of these sort of organisms are trying to conquer the world in their own ways.
I would just be excited to see how they're going to pull this great historical figure out and change it around.
It's kind of about, on like a greater level, like the formation of a scene and a literary movement, and being involved in like the alt-lit game on the internet and all that. There's a lot of questions of like, well, what is this? What is this going to become?
I'm sure no one knows at this point exactly, even like what it's going to come out like, but that's the one that I'm looking forward to.
I think audiences should be excited about how close they get to be to a lot of these shows.
We're molding characters from very inner recesses of people's essences.
The ones I've seen have been very intimate. You know, you're right there, almost to the point of discomfort sometimes. Not quite, but it likes to sit there right there on that edge.
You go in and you're unsure of what you're about to see, but you really want to see it. I think that's a really good draw.
You sort of swim in it as opposed to just looking. You know, you're not in an aquarium, like you're in the pool.
It is very much gritty, borderline, in your face.
I want every show experience here to be totally unique and custom fit to the show and topic and what we're doing.
You know, the audience is going to take something away from all these shows. Why should they come out during the cold, windy weather? Because they'd be missing out on some great shows.